Bruh, Konami has been putting in some hours at the gym, dude. They have been getting swole. I think they are coming after Capcom with a vengeance, dude. For the last few years, us survival horror video game fans have been stuffing our faces with the lavish delights that Capcom has been throwing our way. We've had Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village, the Resident Evil 2 remake, not Resident Evil 3 remake. Let's not go that far. That was terrible. But in recent years, Capcom had been dominating the genre. Then Dead Space came back and everybody lost their shit. Dead Space is coming back. Then you got the Callisto Protocol, which is coming out. So the survival horror genre has been making this resurgence. There's just been this plethora of games that are coming out and repopulating the genre, and Konami's had enough of it. They've had enough of all the memes, man. They were all this time we thought they were sitting in their house watching Dr. Phil in a pair of sweatpants eating a bowl of Cheetos. Come to find out, they were putting in some work at the gym. They were knocking back like 12 protein drinks a day and deadlifting like 4 Silent Hill games all this time. We just didn't even know. Hey dudes and dudettes, I'm Derek with GameSomniac, and today we're going to be talking about the comeback of the year. It is official, folks. Konami has entered the chat, and with them they have brought 4 brand new Silent Hill projects. So we're going to get into that, talk about those 4 new projects. We're going to talk about Konami coming back hitting hard and seeing just what kind of an impact they've made with the Silent Hill transmission of 2022.
I came here to drink milk and kick ass. And I've just finished my milk.
So the first thing we need to acknowledge, because it's probably the easiest to assess out of all of the brand new Silent Hill projects that are coming out, is the Silent Hill 2 remake. It goes without saying that remakes are the hot new trend in video games right now. Everybody's doing one. Dead Space is doing one. Capcom's been making a pretty penny with their remakes of the Resident Evil games. Except for Resident Evil 3, that one really sucked. And honestly, I mean, did anybody not see it coming? What would be the easier thing to do? Come up with a brand new game that people may or may not be on board with, or bet it all on a remake of your fan favorite entry in the Silent Hill series? I mean, Silent Hill 2 is huge. I've never played Silent Hill 2. I always thought Silent Hill 2 was kind of overrated. Everybody talked about it. They talked about it a lot, that I just was never interested in the game. But I gotta admit, the remake looks pretty good. So it doesn't surprise me that Konami's gonna start with a remake of Silent Hill 2, and to me it kind of seems like that's the one Silent Hill project that's further along in production. Like, that's probably actually going to happen. Silent Hill F has a lot of heavy concept, but everything was teaser. There was no actual gameplay. It was just teaser. And then Ascension and Townfall were just teasers. I mean, those are kind of on the back burner. They're kind of iffy. Maybe they'll happen, maybe they won't. Silent Hill 2 remake definitely seems like it's going to happen. And I think the only thing that people are complaining about with the remake is that Bloober Team is behind it. Now, if you don't know anything about Bloober Team, Bloober was behind games like Observer and most recently The Medium, which a lot of people kind of felt was a little lackluster, a little disappointing in certain areas, but it was very heavily inspired by the works of Silent Hill, which I think is what garnered a lot of people's interest in the game initially, until they played it. And they are also the studio behind Layers of Fear. Layers of Fear, again, is another game that I've not played yet. I've actually not played The Medium or Observer, but I've been very interested in tackling these games. I've just not had the opportunity, but I thought Layers of Fear was actually received very well. I mean, it got a sequel, and people were looking forward to the sequel anytime I was online reading about it. Oh, and you know what? They actually did that Blair Witch game too. I've wanted to play that for the longest time. Blair Witch, I've watched people play that game. I've watched gameplay of it. That game looks awesome. I mean, so they seem like a decent studio to me. They've got a lot of good games under their belt. I mean, granted, it's only like 5 titles, but 5 solid titles though. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure we could debate all day, every day over who's the better studio to take over the IP and do a remake of it. But in the end, we all know that we would much rather have Team Silent come back and redo their own game, and that's just never going to happen. The other Silent Hill project that's very interesting to me, this one actually has all of my attention, even more so than the Silent Hill 2 remake, is Silent Hill F. And I've seen a lot of kickback on this. I've seen a lot of people that are really hating this one just because they don't understand why it's taking place in Japan. It takes place in 1960s Japan, which it's throwing everybody off. They're confused, they don't understand. And what's taking place in the teaser doesn't necessarily seem otherworldly, it seems more of like an infection. So people are saying that whoever's working on this obviously doesn't understand Silent Hill, doesn't understand what the core concepts of the franchise are, and there's just a lot of negativity already, but I'm actually rather interested. The scenery looks beautiful. The fucking teaser was horrifying, actually, because how do you get away from something like that? And then in the end, it infects you with fucking plants and peels your face off, and it was crazy. But like I said, Silent Hill F takes place in 1960s Japan, and in the trailer, we get to see this almost like ghost town. There's nobody there at all, except for this one lone schoolgirl who's watching some flowers in the beginning. She's watching some flowers bloom and blossom. And then as the scenes continue, we get to see this town become engulfed in this red fungus that starts going after this unnamed protagonist. And in the end, she too is infected and assimilated by the fungus, which then results in her death. But all the while this is happening, it's very atmospheric. It's a very beautiful scene that turns into this just sinister nightmare. But even the nightmare itself is beautiful to look at. Silent Hill F is being written by Ryukishi07, the acclaimed Japanese visual novel writer behind the Higurashi and Umineko series. Now, I don't know too much about their work personally. I'm very interested in learning more though, because this teaser really caught my attention. I'm very interested in Silent Hill F, and I'd like to see more. And from what I've been seeing online, everybody's been praising the decision to have them write the story based on their previous experiences in writing supernatural horror. When this project was announced, it was also announced that a Resident Evil developer had worked on it, which I kind of thought was funny. That Konami came out swinging hard and heavy. They were ready to go. They threw 4 brand new projects at us, but they still had to name drop Resident Evil to try to get that little extra attention, you know? And then come to find out the developer who worked on the Resident Evil title that they were talking about was actually Neobard, who worked on RE-verse of all the Resident Evil games. But I digress. I'm very excited for Silent Hill F, and I actually hope it comes to fruition. Maybe that's what the F stands for, probably not. But I look forward to seeing more about it. Silent Hill Townfall is one of the more peculiar projects that was announced because there's really nothing in the teaser that gives us any idea as to what the hell we're looking at. But if the reveal trailer wasn't interesting enough, then the tease that would come from John McKellen, No Code's creative director, certainly would be. In short, deep within the reveal trailer for Silent Hill Townfall lies some sort of secret, and I'll be goddamned if somebody from Reddit hasn't already figured out what it was. Because they did. Reddit user MilkmanEX decided to extract the audio from the trailer, convert it to an MP3, and then put it into a spectrogram. And when you look at that spectrogram at around 52 seconds in, you'll see this hidden message, which reads,
"Whatever heart this town had has now stopped."
At this time, nothing else has come from the trailer. No more details on the project have been given, and further updates on the game aren't expected until sometime next year. Alright, last but not least, we got Silent Hill Ascension. Now this one's the weirdest one out of the bunch for me. It's my least favorite of all the projects that have been announced, strictly because I'm not really a fan of the choose-your-own-adventure games and movies and things like that. Those projects are often great in concept, but executed poorly. And this one is described by Konami as a massively interactive live event, but what I can't get my head around is it something that you can always play with your friends at any given time, or is it going to be a one-off? Is it going to be like a couple of days where Konami's going to host a live event and everybody can get on their systems and then participate? Which in theory sounds cool. It sounds like a really cool event, but then you can only do it once, unless they bring it back. So then the question becomes, is it going to be a seasonal thing where they come back with different stories? It's just weird. And it doesn't help that Konami came out the gate swinging and they just threw everything at us, but they give us no real information because they're just not that far along yet. So while it's cool that they've got all these ambitions and projects in the works, it really feels like they shot themselves in the foot because you can't tell me anything about them. And maybe that's because you're not trying to spoil the surprise or the mystery behind the projects, but it could also just as easily be that they have no fucking clue either. Now, I'm just gonna throw this information out there, do with it what you will. J.J. Abrams, his Bad Robot Games studio is actually responsible for the art and sound for Silent Hill Ascension, so for any of you J.J. Abrams fans out there, if this tickles your taint, you're welcome. But really, that's all I can tell you. It's a horror story shaped by the hive mind. In the reveal trailer, there's actually a chat log, so I'm kind of curious if it's gonna be something you can play on your phone, or if you'll play it on your systems and you'll just use chat to kind of communicate with your partners or make decisions in the game. Really, I just gotta know more. I just need more information before I can give any kind of solid assessment on it. But like I said, out of everything, it was my least favorite because of the interactive aspect. I was more interested in the actual games that Konami was producing. Regardless, if I hear anything else about these projects, I'm gonna go ahead and make more videos and try to keep everybody in the loop if you haven't heard already. And stay tuned, because there's a lot happening with the Resident Evil 4 remake that I want to talk about too. I said that Konami came out the gate swinging, but I think Capcom parried and actually gave them an uppercut because Resident Evil 4 is looking solid right now. And you know, that's one of the things that really bummed me out, because I wanted to make this video and have a lot to talk about and be excited about, but really all you can be excited for is Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is really the most developed project out of all 4 of these that were announced. That's really the only one that is actually happening. The rest of them just kind of seems like concepts and ideas that they're working on at this time. And given that there was no gameplay included in the trailers, there's no synopsis, there's no details on any of these projects, I can't even really say that they are in development, or at least deep in development. These could literally just be ideas and concepts that they're toying around with. I mean, we could be looking at another Silent Hills concept movie. After PT came out, they released a Silent Hills concept trailer, which had somebody walking through a corridor, and every door that they passed by had some kind of scary image, a bowling ball rolling down the hallway, went into one of the rooms, then it turned into a kid picking up his severed head while worms came out of his mouth. Like, it was all just scary imagery, and it was supposed to represent what Silent Hills was going to be about, but it told you nothing about it. And really, this kind of gives me the same vibes. They came out the gate with a lot of enthusiasm, they threw everything they had against the wall. Now we're gonna see what's actually gonna stick. That's why I say Silent Hill 2 is good to go. I think that's actually going to happen, no cancellations, nothing like that. Everything else though is up in the air. Out of everything that was announced, I actually think Silent Hill F is my most anticipated Silent Hill project. It looks really good. I like that it's set in Japan, I like that it's set in the 60s, and I like that it's different from Silent Hill. It makes it more interesting. I'd like to see where they go with it. Alright dudes and dudettes, that's going to do it for this one. Like I said, if I come across any more details or any news on these projects, I'll go ahead and make more videos, keep you guys up to date. In the meantime, go ahead and click that like button. You know you want to. You've been eyeing that bad boy ever since you clicked on the video. Then go ahead and click the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to be notified whenever we upload something new. That way when those updates do come in, you'll be the first to know about it. As always, I'm your host Derek with GameSomniac, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!